Hey everyone, Shana Anderson-Nute, President of Spitfire Advertising. Guess what we're talking about today? We are going to talk about logos. Yes, logos, because they are such a key factor, a key element for you to have in your business. We definitely need to talk about logos. Think about it. When a client or a prospect first is introduced to your company, what do they see? If you hand them a business card, there it is, your logo. Send them to your website. What is it? Oh, there's a logo. All of your marketing material has a logo. Promotional products item has a logo. Logo, 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 logo. That's why it is so key for you to plan out what you want your logo to look like in advance, so it saves you time and money, and you make sure it conveys what you want it to about your business. Because if your logo's off, it can actually make people not want to work with you when they have the first response to what they think your company's gonna be about. So here are the 5 tips. Number 1, what type of logo do you want? Did you even realize there was more than one type? There are. There's the monogram logo. That's a logo like IBM or NASA, where it's just the initials, and that's usually used when your business name is so long that you need to cut it up into something smaller. The second is the Watermark logo. So that's like Google or FedEx, where it's just a font, and it's a strong font. You can have a customized font made for you, or you can use font that's already existing. That is a really good way for you to brand yourself, is by using a Watermark logo. There's also the pictorial or the abstract icon. So think Apple, right? We all know what the Apple logo looks like. Think Playboy. I know you guys know what the Playboy logo looks like. Think of the Nike swoosh, right? Pictorial, abstract logos, they convey meaning, about your company, they convey emotions. If you only do the icon or the abstract logo, that is much harder to get people to remember who you are unless you're a well-known brand. The next type of logo, that's the Mascot Logo. So think about KFC with Colonel Sanders, think about Kool-Aid with the Kool-Aid guy, think about Gecko with the lizard. When you want to do a mascot with your logo, that's awesome, especially if you're working or targeting families or children, because this is a great way to get them to connect with you, get them to interact with you. You can put it on your social media, you can do events, and you can have that character show up. Think about what McDonald's did with Ronald McDonald. You can go to a lot of McDonald's and they have the bench that's there, and then they have Ronald sitting on the bench. I know you guys have done this, I have done this. I go sit by Ronald. You can pretend you're talking to Ronald, you can take pictures with Ronald. There's always kids climbing all over Ronald, and he's happy and people want to be around him. That is great marketing. The next type of logo is doing a combination. So you could do, let's think about Target. So Target has the bullseye. So we're talking about the pictorial and abstract logo or icon. They have the bullseye, and then they have their words next to it. They can be together or they can be separate, and you still know it's Target. The next kind of logo is the Emblem Logo. Think about an emblem with words inside. So think about Starbucks, think about Harley Davidson. The drawback to an emblem logo is that when you're going to print it really small, you can lose some of those details. So if you choose to do an emblem logo, you may have to do a simplified version of that, or an alternative version to use in areas where the imprint area is really small. Government agencies, auto shops, things like that, those kind of organizations, they like to do the emblem logos. And the emblem logo can be really tricky when you're doing embroidery. So if you know that you're going to be doing embroideries on apparel, on uniform, on things like that, then the emblem logo is something that you want to really think about before you do. The second thing you need to think about is fonts. You want to choose a font that has the feeling, the emotions, the quality that represents your brand. So what is that? You want to make sure that it's easy to read as well. Also, I would choose one font 2 at the very most. And if you choose 2 fonts, make sure that those fonts complement each other. If you choose a font that's thin, realize that in certain places where you want to imprint your logo, you're going to have to thicken up those lines because the material that we're printing on or the inks we're using will not do a very thin line. Embroidery, for example, can't go as thin as you can with, say, screen printing. Laser etching, sometimes we have to deal with certain things. So you have to understand that if you choose a font that's thin lined, it may have to be thickened up in some areas. Also know that if you choose a font that's really thick and wide, that makes your logo wider, and that also deals with different imprint areas. So that brings me to my next tip, is to make sure that you have 2 types of logos. You have your stacked logo or your vertical logo, so it's longer rather than wider, and then you have your your horizontal logo where it's wider instead of taller. That way you know everything you do is going to work for the imprint area that you've selected for the item that you're choosing. Look at Target, for example. They have it so the bullseye's on front, their logo's on the bottom, and then they do it the opposite way where the bullseye's on the left side and then their words are on the right. So they've taken care of both problems. Tip number 4, colors in your logo. Think about what colors you want. Again, they need to portray your company. For example, if you have an eco-friendly company, a lot of them have a green logo, or blue for water, or trust, or things of that nature. You wouldn't do, for an eco-friendly company, you probably wouldn't do black or red. You want it to represent your company. So just wanted to give you some quick statistics. Did you know that 51% of logos are one color? 30% are 2 color. We definitely suggest sticking to no more than 2 colors max. The top 3 logo colors are blue, black, and then red. So blue's number 1, black's number 2, red's number 3. So always also make sure that you have a black version and you have a white version of your logo, because the last thing you want to do is when you have your logo imprinted on something, that it gets lost in the background. You definitely want it to stand out. You want it to pop. Or if you're doing a tone on tone, you can do that as well. But if you have your colored version, your black version, and your white version, you have all of your bases covered, and you shouldn't have any problems at all anywhere that you want to imprint it. Have you ever noticed how the perception of a logo changes when the colors changed? Look at this example of McDonald's. If it's done in their normal red and orange, we're used to that, we like that. What if they had done their logo in green? Would that make you feel sick when you walked in? Like you wouldn't want to eat their food? What about pink and yellow? Would that change the audience that would be attracted to it? So the 5th tip is think about the file formats that you're going to need your logo created in. You want them to start with creating it in a vector file. Think about Illustrator or Corel Draw. So that would be a .ai, a .eps file format. That way it's scalable. So if you have your logo created at 2 inches by 2 inches with a vector file, you can stretch that out to be put onto a billboard and it wouldn't pixelize. If you have it created in Photoshop or another low resolution software, when you create that same logo at 2 inches by 2 inches and you start stretching it, it is going to pixelate and will not be able to be used. You're not going to be able to use it on imprinting for promotional products because the majority of promotional products want a vector file. And then you're going to have to pay additional money down the road to get it converted, because you can't just take a JPEG and save it as a .ai or a .eps file and think it's going to work. It does not work like that. So you want it created into in a vector file, so Illustrator or Corel Draw. Then from there you can have a PDF created, you can have JPEGs created, you can have whatever TIFFs, whatever formats you need, you can have created, but get it started in the Illustrator file. So these are the top 5 things that you need to know in advance when you want your logo created, so you're not wasting time and you're not wasting money, because you want every element of your logo to shine. You want all of it to be a correct representation of your business, of your company. So when your prospects see your logo, they're attracted to your company. They want to find out more. They definitely connect with it. That's why this is important. Okay. So let's do a recap of those 5 tips, the 5 things you need to know in advance and think through before you have your logo designed so that you're not wasting time and money. Number 1 is, what type of logo did you want? Did you want it to be a word mark, a monogram, all the different ones that we had talked about? What type of font do you want to use in there? And again, no more than 2 fonts. You need to make sure that you have a horizontal and a vertical logo created so it works in all areas. You want to look at the colors you're using in your logo and also have a black version and a white version of it. And the 5th is knowing what file format you're going to need, but definitely making sure that it is created in a vector file format. So once you do all this, you are set to go. You will have an amazing logo that will be timeless for years to come, and you are going to be so happy with it. So I hope this has helped you. If you need help designing or updating your logo, or you're doing a rebrand, let us know. We can help you design your logo as well. And make sure that you're following our blog, because every week we are putting out content like this to help you with your marketing, to skyrocket your business, and to help you reach your marketing goals. So until next week, remember to smile, because happy looks good on you. And go out there and do something kind today. Have a great day.